feelings. I mean, that we've been taught to hide our feelings and taught to suppress our feelings.
yeah.
And that's where the truth and the answers and the healing is. And like you said, you're walking down the street and you're saying, I'm scared. So you've noticed that you're scared. You've let it be, you've observed it. You've let it be okay that you're scared and not try and, well, how do I go and be brave and tough, or how do I not let anyone see I'm scared? Just embrace it. And then that's when the power is dissipated, when you can actually step into that. And I think, again, in the film, talking about, you know, those demons, and when you go in and you face those, and that's the shadow side that we're scared of, the dark side. We're too scared to go there. And yet if we go there, that's where the healing is.
Well, that's where the healing needs to be, you see. So if you're not looking at that, you know, you're never going to get healed. If you're just never willing to let go to the pain, to let go to the fear. Which is hard. I was in Colombia before I got here. I just said I was in Colombia, and I was on a shamanic retreat that was basically designed for you to look at your terror.
Well, that 2-year course, was it?
No, it was 2 weeks.
Okay.
But it was very, very intense. Yeah. And, you know, I saw the bogeyman.
Yeah. I
saw my fear. I mean, a couple of nights I was scared of the dark. I had to have a candle in my room.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure now, I'm saying now because it was only like 2 weeks ago, or just before I came here, less than that. So, but it's really brought it up to me, my fear, and it's really allowed me to kind of see how it's just stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not really scared of anything.
It's not real.
Really, I'm not really scared of anything. I don't think, you know, right now I'm definitely not scared of anything.
Yeah.
So, but it can rule you so easily, and you don't even know what it is. So yeah, to look at it is very important, and that's hopefully, we're not preaching in this, but hopefully this might help people.
Yeah.
Because the other thing we try and do, when we're talking to Anita Roddick on our first film, God bless her, she said, if you want to get a message across in the world now, you're competing with Levi's and Coca-Cola and Nike, and you've got to make it short and powerful and deep. So this is what we try and do with here, like with Eckhart Tolle, for example, that we did a 3-hour interview with him. Well, we asked 2 questions and he talked for 3 hours.
Yeah.
He gave us the full Monty. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Brilliant.
So then I sat for 6 weeks with the 3-hour interview, every day, getting up every morning, going to bed and that, chopping it down. Then trying to get it. I'm trying to get it in like 1-minute chunks.
Yeah.
So I think in our film there's 3 or 4 moments for him. They're all about a minute long.
Yeah.
And we mix it in with the music. So you never get this feeling that you're watching this self-help documentary or something. You're being entertained. That's the most important thing that we want to get. So the music carries these deep message through it. And then, like when the Eckhart Tolle comes in, it'll be a 32-bar sequence or something. So it'll go in with the music. So it feels like a lead vocal. And when he gives his punchline, Michael Stipe comes in, or the next bit of music comes in. So you never feel like, one, you're being preached at, or 2, you're watching this dry documentary, which I think a lot of films about self-help or self-healing it can be a bit boring.
Well, it can be. It's the kind of like, you know, talking the talk, not walking the talk. It's
Noam
like,
Chomsky, we're lucky to get Noam Chomsky in our film. I mean, Noam Chomsky, he's a lovely man, he's very clever, but he does drone on a bit.
Yeah.
It's very hard to watch Noam Chomsky for half an hour and stay focused.
Yeah.
So we've got like 1.5 minutes of Noam, maybe 2 minutes, where he really gets his message across that, you know, the governments and the society all want you to believe that there is nothing you can do. But you can do anything. And he gets it, and like, wow, Noam, well said. So that's our kind of goal, really, to make, not preaching to the converted. I mean, like, so Noam Chomsky has thousands of devoted fans, in a way, who read all his books and listen to all his tapes and everything. We want to get the people who would never read a Noam Chomsky book or never, you know, and say, and the same with Baba Mal. You know, we love Baba Mal's music, but a lot of people would never ever hear Baba Mal's music because they were not into a West African, they would never buy a West African music album. But if he's mixed in with Robbie Williams, then you get Robbie Williams, you get Baba Mal, and you kind of go, and we've had a lot of that, like, and I think we're helping, hopefully, the whole idea of, to get away from this world music label. Because world music is a bit fascist, really, because world music, what it actually means is it's not European or American.
Yeah, okay.
And that's a bit nasty, it's a bit kind of condescending in a way. Music of the world, okay, fair enough. Or music you've never heard before, but it's great. There isn't a new label yet, but you hear what I'm saying? So
yeah, well, you've really made it work. I mean, you've literally drawn in from all different cultures and countries.
Yeah.
Created something that is truly global, using a universal language in music.
There we go. Inspired, you know, there are a few other people doing it. Our original inspiration was, there's an album in the 80s called My Life in the Bush of Ghosts by David Byrne from Talking Heads and Brian Eno. All hail to Brian Eno. And they took a load of African musicians and mixed it up with kind of exorcisms off the radio and different sound bites, and that was when the sampler just came in. So they made this thing which really inspired me and Jamie. Peter Gabriel did it as well with The Passion, where he took lots of music from North Africa and across that region and mixed it with high-tech pads and highly produced sounds. So you had different singers all the time, which we really love. Because in this new iPod generation, you don't really listen to a whole album anymore. You listen to this track, then that track. So in one giant leap, you can listen to a whole album because each track has a different singer, and often there's 2 or 3 different singers on each track. You know, so you get Maxi Jazz singing with Jalisa, singing with the Barrels of Bengal. Boom, that's one track. Like, wow, how did we do that?
That's pretty cool. And amazing what you can do with technology these days, and just did most of it on your Apple Mac, and just it's incredible what can be done now, what the little guys can go and do without having necessarily...
The important thing is, though, I was talking to someone yesterday about pre-made music in a way. You know, how you get sample CDs that have all these things that you could just glue together, or even more, you can take someone's music and put it in Ableton Live and put it in time with what you're doing. Yeah. But the only thing is, unless it's coming through, unless the inspiration is coming through, it won't be any good. No. And that's the thing that people forget, and that's the trouble, is a lot of the music, probably 80% of the music on the planet right now is being made by people who are not plugged into that inspirational core. It's manufactured. It's manufactured, and it's very easy. You can open up a laptop, get some preset things. There's enough formulaic pop songs or whatever that you can fall back on, that you can make something. But there are a few people doing it, there always are, and hopefully we're one of them, like Radiohead, Esbjorn Svensson, blah, blah, blah. There's loads of people who are pushing the envelope, they're plugging into the source and bringing things through that you don't expect. Yeah. And I think that's really important. But also, I've got to say one more thing about that. I was in Colombia last week, and I keep saying, it knocked me out. It knocked me out, it knocked me out. I met these people called the Kogi people. Yeah. And they live at 17,000 feet in the Sierra Nevada. 17,000? 17,000 feet. Wow. And nobody knew they were there, and they came down in the mid-90s and said, look, we're your elder brother. And we've been up there and we're looking at the world, and we think things are going a bit wrong. You're all a bit mad. Well, they didn't actually say that, but that's exactly that implication. Anyway, so this retreat, this shamanic retreat I went to in Colombia, some of their Kogi people were coming to that, so I had an opportunity to go meet them, and I went with my cameraman, and we kind of had a meeting. And I went with this cello player called Matthew Barley, who's gorgeous. He's like one of the top 10 cello players in the world. Wow. He does Bach and Mozart, and beautiful. And he's right up for investigating his shadow and investigating. So we all went, and a shaman, Yakov, who I know from England. And we went there. The idea was to meet with the Kogi people and try and make some music with them. Wow. So they turned up, and the Kogi people had 2 flutes. One had 2 notes, the other one had like 5 notes, I think. And every single one of their songs is virtually the same as every other one of their songs. The same tempo, definitely, and more or less the same notes. So we got into this whole thing of like, you know, me and Matthew especially, our whole goal is to push the envelope, find new things, expand, expand, expand. And the Kogi guys, they haven't written a new song for 2,000-3,000 years. And you kind of go, so this is the opposite of what I was saying a minute ago, really. It's just like saying, okay, and their music, when you surrender to it, and you're kind of going, well, it's a bit, you know, because on one level it's very simplistic and is nothing compared to, you know, what I do or what Matthew does normally, which is very complex and very multi, blah, 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 blah. And then after a couple of days, we started playing with them, and we kind of realised, I really got it, that when music gets signed off in a way, like in a way Bach has been signed off. Like, it's like everyone agrees that he was talking to God, he got it through, and there's still people playing Bach. So Matthew still plays Bach, and he kind of realised, okay, this is the same. This is like, so music came through from wherever it comes from, God, shall we call it, for want of a better word, and he realised that, oh my God, this is amazing, everyone likes it, so why do anything new? It was a beautiful realisation. Wow. And then at the end, they wrote a new piece with us. Really? What they did, there was 2 flutes, one's a male, one's a female. The female plays the melody, the male goes do-do-do-do-do-do-do, which is quite funny, and the top one goes di-di-li-di-di-di-di-di. It's very kind of simple music. Anyway, very the last night of the last ceremony, we got in there, and the 2 guys had swapped their flutes over. The guy who normally plays the female flute was playing the male flute. The guy who plays the male, he's like, all right, okay.